Hi, this is Theresa with One Inspiring Woman, and today we're talking about planetary energy. That's right. Today we are talking about all things Neptune in retrograde. So I'm going to give you some dates about Neptune in retrograde for 2022, and then we're going to talk about the energy that will be affected by Neptune in retrograde in the sign of Pisces. So let's start with some cold hard facts. So March 7th, 2022, Pisces enters pre-shadow energy. Then Neptune will be in full retrograde from June 27th through December 3rd, and then it'll be in post shadow energy until March 24th. So literally just over a year in this retrograde energy. And so let's talk about kind of a little bit about Neptune's, kind of like what does Neptune affect? So one of the things that Neptune really affects is kind of our seeing world, our dreams, our kind of like our perception of things, kind of like our illusions, kind of like our fantasy world. And it's all about kind of entering into this energy, and it's kind of really interesting of like how it's going to affect for each person. Now, some people just have like really weird, bizarre dreams. Okay. Some people kind of like go into more of the illusions, and they kind of live in that fantasy world for a period of time. It's kind of like, I think this is what's going to happen, or I think this is how my world's going to come about, or I kind of feel like this is the way it's going to happen. And they kind of keep pushing the energy towards one thing, and then all of a sudden Neptune will be like, oh, we're over here, and you're like, wait, this is the delusion of it. Kind of like, we thought we were moving this direction closer to this, and then now all of a sudden it's changing its energy. So it's kind of really be ready for that energy to kind of move around and kind of show you where your intuition should be working or could be working a little bit stronger for you. Let's see. This Neptune in retrograde is going to be really strong because it's also kind of like it's in its home planet of Pisces, because it's also about all of that flow energy, kind of like that dream flowing. And then we've got this Pisces energy of flowing fish and kind of flowing into everything. So it's going to be a really, really strong retrograde, not necessarily harsh, just going to be really strong. It's really important to kind of understand how Neptune in retrograde affects you. Like I said, sometimes it's kind of people have weird dreams, and sometimes they kind of feel like their past lives are kind of coming to get them, or kind of they feel that more energy coming out. Sometimes people kind of go into their kind of like almost like their shadow energy, like they jump in full force into movies and television and fashion and glamour and all that kind of stuff, almost this illusion life of like, I don't want to live in the real world, I want to watch this TV show. And then they'll literally just keep going through the whole series over and over and over, almost like that binge watching over and over and over again, and kind of almost like creating an illusion of like, I don't live in this world, I live in that world. And that's where a lot of people get caught up. And I would say usually younger people are more caught up in it. I think when we get a little bit older, kind of like our mid-20s, we start to realize like, wow, this is really affecting me and I don't like this, so I'm going to make some new changes. The kind of the shadow side of Neptune is all about kind of like planet plane, kind of like even worse than just watching movies or whatever else and binge watching constantly and not really in there. It could kind of go into kind of like the hypnotist, kind of the trances of things. And this could bring a lot of people moving into using more drugs, more alcohol to kind of get into that like fantasy world, or kind of escaping what's going on in their real world. It doesn't mean that all of those are bad, but it's one of those using them to the extent where it could be bad. Sleeping and oversleeping could be one of them, and kind of like staying in those dream states longer than what we really should be. And kind of really the way it comes in is kind of like how you work through this energy is really, really important. Kind of one of the things that's really interesting is Neptune is in each sign. It actually takes 165 years for it to go all the way around the sun one time, but it's in each sign for about 14 years. So it's been in this sign for a while, and it's going to kind of stay in that energy. It is going to kind of bring us this, like this dream life for a lot of people. It's okay to visit, don't just stay there. So make sure that you're kind of like, okay, I'm not really staying here, I'm kind of just visiting for a little bit. That will be really great for most people. Kind of like, I really want to enjoy this kind of, it's okay to get out of reality sometimes. It's not okay to stay out of reality for a long period of time. So let's pull some angel cards and hopefully get us some insight into all things Neptune in retrograde in 2022. So the first one is all about freedom. When people kind of really join their own world, it's kind of this freedom of like, now I don't have to wash the dishes, and now I don't have to walk the dog, and now I don't have to do this, and kind of like that fantasy life. Now I don't have to take care of anybody or anything, and that can be really great for a period of time, but you do have to take responsibility for yourself in your world. Support. Call on your angels and guides to support your energy through this. Call on their energy to kind of, it's okay to zone out for a little bit. It's not okay to stay there. That's really important during this Neptune in retrograde. Next, power. Your power is with you. You get to kind of pick and choose how you're going to work through this energy. You get to pick and choose what things you're going to allow yourself to do or not do. That can be really important. And if there's other people around you that are getting kind of drawn into that negative sign of Neptune, calling them on it, like, this, I don't like you like this. I want to react with you. I want you to react with me. I want you to kind of interact with me. And that's a really good way to think about it. Kind of study how well you do in Neptune in retrograde, because I've had people go, oh, I'm not affected by planets in retrograde at all, and then when they start thinking about it, they're like, wait, every year around this time I start having these issues. Yep, that's the interesting part. So many times people say, oh, I'm not affected by planetary retrogrades or anything like that, but they really are. So you have to really study that time frame. Trust that you've got the energy to get through this, and if not, trust that you've got the people around you to support you through this, that are calling you on things. So many times people are like, oh, they're just being mean, or they just don't want me watching TV all day. Well, there's a reason why. You got to live in the real world. You got to have some good energy going out there. Harmony. So many times harmony can come into play, such a great energy. There's a harmony and there's a balance to things. So if you feel like you're out of harmony, get back into balance with it. Kind of like, how do I do that? Well, being in motion. Neptune is all about motion of the ocean and moving and that sort of thing. And so is Pisces of the fish. So kind of getting in motion will help you kind of balance this energy a little bit better. And going for long walks, or kind of going on this kind of like fun time of just like, I get to be with myself. I kind of get to be my own energy, and how do I do this and how do I deal with this is going to be very, very important for you during Neptune in retrograde in 2022. I thank you so much for joining me today, and I know that we'll be talking again soon.